Have you ever met somebody who came up to you and said, "You haven't changed a bit"? Have you ever met someone like that?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've met people that say that, and they think it's a compliment, when in reality, in our business and personal growth, that's about the worst insult that you could ever get.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what we're going to title the video, the worst insult you could ever get. And I think it's that you haven't changed a bit. Now, Jon, we were in this room about 3 years ago. And in fact, I'm going to give people just a quick view. It's called The Loft, and it's a beautiful room, but it's at Spark Space.
It's beautiful.
And yet we're back today. And I'm actually being on your video in a few minutes because you've grown tremendously. But who was the Jon Giganti 3 years ago?
That's a deep question.
It is a very deep question.
I think the Jon Giganti 3 years ago was not authentic enough and real enough, and was searching and not just kind of dealing with current situation and struggles and stuff like that, right? So being in this room 3 years ago was huge for me. It got me, it jarred me tremendously. At that time, we went to Shawshank, right?
I mean, that's pretty crazy. We came here our second day 3 years ago, but the first day I took you to prison.
That's right. That's right.
Right? So we had a mastermind inside Shawshank Prison.
It was awesome.
And we talked about the bars. What were the bars that were holding people back?
Yeah.
And I think I hear you saying that one of your bars was maybe a mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yes, you don't, for me, the big change was dealing with the crap.
Yeah.
Right? So, and going back many, many years, by the way.
Yeah.
And once I finally took ownership,
Yep.
amazing what happened,
Yeah.
right? It's, and then you talk about insulting, what you said at the beginning. It's just, how do you evolve every day? How do you add value? How do you contribute every single day? No matter every interaction, it doesn't matter what it is. Forget about shooting a video or writing a post or whatever.
But today you're trying to add value to other people.
Absolutely. So we started this video series because I want to contribute, right? I want to highlight key thought leaders like yourself.
Cool. And
just guys that are contributing, women that are contributing, and just bring that to the table and just
and
add value.
what's your video series called?
It's called With Intention.
With Intention.
Yep.
I love that. And don't you think that the Jon Giganti 3 years ago and the Jon Giganti today, I would say that the reason why you can add value to others today is because you stopped focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
In other words,
100%.
when we have a mask, who are we really focused on?
Ourselves. No doubt.
Because we're like, ooh, I got to keep that up, and I gotta keep the posture and this type of thing. And by the way, you know my story.
Sure.
I've been there too. I mean, I was a pastor who was self-injuring, who was addicted to cutting. So I mean, I get it, and that mask was very hardcore. So I love the change we're seeing in you. And do you remember that you remember that day 3 years ago? We brought in our mutual friend, Chet Scott.
Absolutely.
And Chet kept using an illustration. What did he do?
There was an iPad in front of his face.
Yeah.
He said, you can't, I remember it clear as day. Actually, that day helped change my life.
Yeah.
You can't clean up
your crap
until you get rid of whatever's in front of your face. So you can't clean up the next thing, focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Literally.
And at that point in your life, you had a big old iPad. It wasn't an iPad, but it was crap in front of you.
Absolutely.
And so you said, instead of looking out there and figuring out my future and all this great stuff, I got to get this. Because you're right. Chet kept going like this, and we couldn't see clearly.
Yeah. And he challenged us in that room. He said, how do you add value to other people every day? Whether you're going to be a coach or whatever it is, if you're having a ton of struggle yourself, you're not cleaned up yourself.
That's
and that hit me hard. And you know what? It's With Intention is the name of this series now.
That's
because
the result.
I literally went from just thinking about myself, thinking about others, and how do I focus daily on just getting better and evolving. And it's amazing what 3 years can do.
And I mean, just to compliment you, I've seen massive change. In other words, I've seen your faith grow.
Absolutely.
You started to lead missions trips.
Yep.
You started to be a leader at your church.
Absolutely.
Teaching. So I mean, your fathering, your husbanding, your local community service skyrocketed. So thanks for what you're doing. Where can people find out more about your video series and you?
Yeah, so you can go to jongiganti.com.
Okay.
My website. It's Jon, parents forgot the H on
Yeah.
the name there, but yeah, it's on there. And then if you just Google or go to YouTube and look
Yeah.
up With Intention, it's on
With
there.
intention. So folks, today I want to challenge you. Don't worry about trying to fix the world and change the world when you got that stuff right in front of you that you need to fix. And then let's tease each other a little bit by not saying you haven't changed a bit, but instead go up to somebody who has made a big change and say, you know what, I can't even recognize you anymore. You've grown so much. This is Kary Oberbrunner and Jon Giganti. Be a soul on fire. We'll see you.
See you guys.